say you are a beloved participant. You've been, your accolades are amazing. An author of 5 books, you've been on Oprah lists. You've basically redefined what it is in terms of body image and executive leadership coaching, all of it. You're a powerhouse. Thanks for being on the podcast. Good to meet you.
Well, I'm really delighted to meet you, John. Really, I love what you and your wife have put together, and it's been quite a lovely journey to take your coach training EDU classes. So thank you.
I appreciate it. It's one of the things I was telling Moise, that I think one of the huge benefits that we have, working together and creating all of this is that even late at night when we're talking, we're still talking coaching, we're still talking business, and it's useful. And I was just saying how special that is that we get to have this relationship where we work well personally as well as professionally. And then it shows. I
Right.
love this work.
Oh, I do. I'm learning that I am as well loving it, and I didn't expect that I was going to love coaching the way that I actually do love coaching. So I appreciate having the kind of teachers that are a part of the classes that I'm taking, and their interest and their passion is so reflected. No one's bored at
Right.
all, you know. They're engaged, and there's some important work that's being done. I had no clue, John.
Right.
No,
I get
I had
excited
no
when people
clue.
come to coaching. I think, oh my goodness, the journey is there for you. It's almost like it's like a personal development amusement park that you get to go to,
Right.
and not
It's true.
everyone finds it,
It's so true.
right?
I had no idea that I was going to be coached so much.
Right. And that's part of the design, because most people come to coach training without being coached. They just say, oh, I want to be a coach. And that's common. You just get into it and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But when you really start to dive into it, I find the internal journey is, you can only go, it's work that only you can do. No one can do this work for you.
Oh, yeah. Seriously. And I think that the way you designed it, you and your wife and Moises have designed it. And I want to back up, and I do want to say
Yeah.
one of the reasons why I signed up with you guys, because there was a lot of other choices to have and other conversations that I was having. But let me just say this, is that the way that you've designed it really gives us a tangible interaction with ourselves. And when we see that we have all the answers as the coaches,
Right.
that gives me the confidence to, even though when I think I'm clueless, like I'm totally clueless, I am at a wit's end and not know where to turn. When I'm given the breath, when I'm given the silence, when I'm given the space and held with such respect by the other coach that I'm working with, man, a whole new world opens up. And then you can apply that to everyone, everyone. So I love what you say is to trust yourself, trust the client, and then trust the process. And that's the truth. That's the bomb.com.
It's totally. Even this morning I was doing research. I was reading the study on gratitude, and with Jennifer, who's on staff, and we're geeking out on this. We're both reading this,
Geek out on that. That's good stuff to geek out on.
this 8-page. They're talking about 6 different models of gratitude and the impact on all these different relationships, internal stuff like this. The thing that struck out to me was how much we nerd out on this.
Mhm.
It's like a whole new field that you can, positive psychology has opened up this whole new space. And
Yeah.
you were you were in terms of the fashion industry and modeling industry, you were some of the, you did some groundbreaking work. What was that like for you to do that groundbreaking work? And this is decades of.
Right. It's actually a couple of
Decades.
decades ago,
Right.
when no one was really talking about inclusive beauty. I came to the table being a reporter. So I was an NBC affiliate reporter. I knew that being on the daily news was not my gig, because it was just, I wasn't made out to be calloused and with the emotions, and it's not saying that my compadres are calloused, but I just saw the writing on the wall that I loved TV. I loved the medium and the vehicle of TV. However, reporting on deaths and children needing to jump out of burning homes and getting the report, I just said that's just not for me. And it's just an interesting journey that when I literally fell into the full figured modeling end of the business, I had no clue that there was even, I wasn't interested in modeling at all. But when I realized that there was this division, and I was already, an athlete, I was a size 12, 14 already. And I just was like, well, wouldn't that be great to make money on the side? And when I came into the industry, my curiosity, key word in coaching, my curiosity was piqued because I had always been, myself and my colleagues, my other athletes, we were being applauded, jump higher, go faster. And when we would do it, we'd win medals. So when I walked in and I saw that the photographers and the stylists and the editors and all these people looked at women that were above a size 0 as like pariahs, I was like, there's something going down here and it's interesting. So I didn't realize I walked into the biggest story of my life. And so with that curiosity, and I could not stop asking questions as a reporter, but also as an individual going, well, why is this disparity here? Didn't make any sense. And when I started gaining more and more popularity and had a really wonderful opportunity to speak on a national level for the first time in 94, I just opened up a big can of worms that the culture was not yet there saying, oh, peace, love, and granola, I love my body, let's all rock it. Women that were so thin were trying to stay so thin, and at any cost. Women who were medium sized were just not happy. Women that were really thin were not happy. Women that were larger that were not happy. And then mix in men, that was not even talked about. So there I was talking away, and people were like either loving me or saying, get away. So I felt like I was the windshield of a very fast moving car where all the bugs were getting stuck on it. And I knew that there was some really important work being done. And I was going through my own self-discovery about, well, what is my body image and how do I fit into all this? And the more that I learned and the more that I listened, it felt like there was something brewing. And I kind of disrupted stuff, just existing, just existing. So that's basically how that, being a first one in, anybody who's a first one inner, it's tough, but it was so rewarding. And look at what's going on with the women in the younger generations in modeling and acting, and the whole beautiful array, the bouquet of beauty is being displayed. I get goosebumps. Even.
Oh, it's real. It's real.
It's so cool. It's great, and it's important. And I think we all have as I say this a lot to the younger people, I'm like, when an opportunity knocks on your door, you might feel that you're not prepared, or that you might not be the one, but if it's knocking on your door, open up that sucker. Trip over the door, walk through the door, run through the door, skip through the door, but go towards that opportunity, and you'll learn and you'll grow. And, you finally realize, here I am at 57 saying, every opportunity is our lessons. And that's why we're here. I think that's exactly why we're here. Not to be perfect, for God's sake.
Well, it's amazing that you took something that was so personal, like your personal experience. You're walking in there and realizing it's almost like the record, like the record just skirches. I don't know what the word is for that, but the skirch happens, and then you realize wait, it's almost like you're seeing something that no one else can see is the
It was
student.
not, I just happened to be my mouth kept on going. People were thinking it, they were suffering. So I'm an ambassador for the National Eating Disorders Association. And with all that information underneath my fingernails as a reporter, I was thinking, well, how could we be spending from, a 10-year study with Psychology Today? They ask questions about what color you like, to what light bulbs do you use in your home, to, they're just asking what motivates you in many, many different areas. And it's a wonderful study. And when I started seeing the numbers, once again, being that curious person going, what's different here? What are we seeing? I saw the diet related industries making like gross amounts of money off of a 98% failure rate, 10 years in between each other. Like we're talking 50 million and then jumping up to 100 million, or 33 million jumping up to 50, then jumping up to 100. And I go, all based on a 98% failure rate? Well, why are we doing that? I just kept on asking, well, if it's failing, why are we doing that? And then you just you can do this. Everybody can do this, is just scratch a little bit beyond the surface. And before you point the finger out, you look, you have a whole person here going, well, what am I doing about it? And the answer is there too.
Well, it's like the door. I mean, so Moist got life coach trained, and then I was basically the practice client for people who were in her course. And I remember my first coaching session where I was being coached because I was a practice client. And I still remember my takeaway from it. And I thought, why am I only having this conversation now? Why aren't we having this? Why didn't I have this conversation when I was a teenager? Like, what if I had this conversation when I was a teenager?
Right.
So I went to my classroom and I thought, what? This is going to change the world. Why is everyone not, why are we not shouting this from the rooftops? Like, why are we not getting every single high school student or every person a coach? And now I have a 13-year-old who's now getting, she's now that age, talking about like body image. She's in, she's taking a course that's just amazing that talks about, sexuality and, body, like loving yourself as you are and all of this stuff. It's just amazing how far education has come in the past 20, 30 years with this. Where do you see another 20? If you were to fast forward this let's say another 10 or 20 years, what are the milestones that you see that this, like now that it's becoming known, like, okay, life coaching works, curiosity works, acceptance, all of this, what are the next milestones for us as a society?
Well, that's a really great question. And we have how many minutes? But no.
I know. Let's get it like, woo!
I know. Hello. I love that
Yes.
you're passionate about your daughter being 13 years old. And I would love to send you guys my first book, the True Beauty one. And I think you guys should read it first and then hand it right over to her, because she's exposed and she knows. But it's best if the parents always read, especially if they're 13, just to read it so that you guys can have great conversations. And if there's a link for the course, is it in class that she's taken this, or is it an additional class? Because if any parent is listening to this, they're going, okay, what is that course that John's daughter is taking? Is there something that you can give out, or no? Is it just
I can do it. I'll talk to Moise first, and then we'll put the link out. And
is it in school?
No.
Okay. Because this issue with the relationship we have with our bodies going, let's say in, a couple of decades from here, my wish is that we can see and understand the first most important intimate relationship that we have is with our own body. That's the most important relationship, because this sucker, this beautiful thing, takes us from point A to point Z all over, breathes, pumps blood, no matter what we say to it, no matter how much we beat it up, no matter how much we say horrible things, it still unconditionally loves us. So what I would like to see, the milestones, what I'd love to see is I'd love to see a better relationship that mothers can have with themselves, that fathers can have with themselves. Because when the two major units within the family, if they are rocking and rolling with their bodies and they honor them, and you see your mom going out for a walk almost every day or doing something where it physically makes her filled with joy, where you see the food going into all bodies is diversified and there's yumminess and there's people get into the family unit, gets into the fuel going into their bodies, highest level if you can. Water. And then when movies come on in the family, that you don't sit back and you point your finger at body diversity, that they're not a certain ideal or they're not a certain background, that there's just an enjoyment of the movie, and concepts and topics are discussed instead of tearing others down. When we can heal that deep insecurity that we're automatically brought up with through the parents that we have, as well as the society that tries to, I think there's a control happening, that if you try and make people feel that they're not perfect the way they are and all that beautiful diversity that we are, there's an idea that, well, then we'll just dangle that carrot, just like those diet related industry groups. And if we can make them feel bad enough, we'll make more money. But I think we're really getting past that now. I think we understand that with the power of the money that we're spending, we're stopping and saying, if it's 98%, if there's a 98% failure rate, and I always feel horrible on all those damn diets. Well, who isn't doing all that? And what possibly could they be doing? Just living their life and figuring out what makes them groove and feel good? That seems really simple. It could be really hard, and there could be a lot of changes with putting myself first, but I think it's better than turning myself inside out. So if we could see our future generations, especially the youth of today, getting older into tomorrow, owning who they are, gracefully, beautifully, goddess-like, and courageous men and women that hold each other's hand through their skin color, texture, sizes, heights, age, and all that, I think this world is going to rotate that much better, because it all comes from within. I think it just does. And I know this is what I'm here for. This is just, it's so simple.
Right.
It's so simple.
It feels,
but it's so hard.
It feels electric to do work and to know without a doubt that you were born to do this work. And that feeling is like, I don't know. I don't even know. Like it's why I coach. It's what I do. It's why we do what we do. Right.
Yeah.
I could feel it through when you're talking. I'm like, yes, Emme has it. This is,
yeah.
It's
and you do too. I listen to you when I walk, when I don't have time to do a lot of the reading, I will listen to you and I go, love that you have this effervescence around the work that you do. I really love hearing that. And let me just go back to one of the reasons that attracted me to the work that you're doing and the courses. I have a dream to get into an RV with my daughter. You know what I'm about to say. And I want to go to all the wonderful historic sites, but I really want to go to all the national parks. I'm a geek when it gets to camping, and you could put me into high heels and, put me into wherever. And I love doing that. But what grounds me the most is meeting people and connecting. When I'm on the road and working with different department stores, we have these big, huge fashion shows. There's nothing like connecting with the people. And I was like, maybe if I can try and connect with the people on this wellness concept and talking and communicating, having barnstorming and going across the country in an RV. And I saw that you did that. You actually got in your RV and went and met your clients.
Yes.
That rocked. That's so rocked. I love that you did that.
We lived in an RV for 15 months.
Oh, dear God.
With a 10. What was it? She's like 11, a 10, and a 1-year-old and a 1-year-old. Like, what were we doing?
Children? I didn't realize that you brought everybody.
We had the whole thing. We had a dog, we had a cat, we had the whole. Well, what it was, because Moise and I were talking about going living in Spain for 2 years. We had
Right.
the Spain thing, and then literally we were a 2-week trip, planned to do some reconnaissance. We found
Yes.
out we were pregnant with number 3 the night we were packing to go to Spain.
Oh,
So for 2 weeks, we just had this conversation. Moise and I were having this conversation while our 2 girls were, enjoying Spain, like visiting schools, seeing if it was going to work or not.
yeah.
We didn't want to have a child in Spain. So we came back here and said, let's do the RV trip instead. We got to see trainers we've never actually met in person, but have worked with them for years. It's an amazing experience. I'm so happy we did it.
Yourself as a family.
But I'm so happy we're done. Like, it's happy we did it. Happy we're done. You know what I mean? Like, at the time, like, because it's just not health. It's hard to stay healthy. Talking about body and things like that. I mean, it just was a challenge because every time you move, okay, where's the next running route? Where can I find a pool to swim in? How can I exercise? Like, it became a thing where I felt like, you know what, I'm now burning health, by continuing to do this process. However, if you do it for like 3 months, oh my goodness, like it's
15
you should do it.
months, and
Change your life.
wow.
3
Wow.
months, 6 months, around in there.
We're going to do it. We've been looking at Airstreams.
Yep. We
Anyway,
still have it. If you want to, I'm trying to sell this thing. Like,
oh, are you? Okay, so we'll have
totally,
to talk
100%.
offline about that.
It's a 35-foot fifth wheel. It's like a 6-ton object that I drove with a truck. I did not drive trucks until this thing.
What was the best thing that came out of this journey for your business? I could only imagine how it really brought you together with Moise.
We were moving towards more and more remote as this thing started, and so it made us 100% remote. 1 and 2, and so when the pandemic hit, it just was, well, we've been remote for years now. It's not a big deal at all.
Right.
And 2, I feel like I gained about 10 years life experience in about 1 year, living experience. That I just learned that there are whole new worlds out there. And what's interesting too, the health thing, I realized how systemized people are when they're in one spot. You have the ability to create all these systems around you that when you're moving and nomadic, your systems have to get that much tighter. And surprisingly too, I think families, the houses they live in are too big.
I have a story with that. My friend in the Bahamas was building a beautiful, beautiful big house, and he had to take his family and put the family into a smaller home, a greatly smaller home, while the other house was being built on top of their old house or something like that. So I was checking in. He's like, we're all excited. We cannot wait. This is so great. He moves his whole family into this very big house. And he goes, you're not going to believe this. Every single day, our kids were in our bedroom, like sleeping. They're big kids. And he sold the big house and he went into a house that was much smaller, but not as small as the rental. And they were much happier because they wanted to be closer together. To your point.
That was the biggest surprise, was how easy it was to adjust to living in such a small space, because it's just comforting. You're making food and you hear your 10 and 8-year-old like in the next little room, and they shared a bunk. Like it was cool. And we did it right before all the restrictions and things like that. So I feel like we hit it well.
Yeah, no joke.
In and out. I don't think I want to do it again. I'm good. I'm good. It's okay. It's all right.
Well, that's great. I loved seeing you on the road on a picnic table. I think there was an image that I won't forget, that you were on a picnic table and the van was behind you.
That was the
something like that, Yeah, was it?
That was my very first class. Yeah, there's a whole story. This is like there's a whole thing here. But going back to the body image thing, the health thing in the RV, it was hard. It was a struggle. And I'm someone, so Moise ran track in college. I wrestled. And so we talk about wrestling. I started wrestling when I was like in southwestern Pennsylvania. So I started cutting weight at the age of 13. That's when I cut weight, like 7th grade, 8th grade. I was 100 pounds. I cut down to 95 for tournaments. I was a stick, it
How
looked
tall
like
are
a little 5'11". So I'm 5'11", 180. right now.
Yeah.
But I like, I swim 3 miles a week. I mountain bike 3 or 4
That's the
times a
other
day.
thing. That's the other thing. I'm a big swimmer also.
It's
And that's,
lovely.
yeah. Oh,
It's that, right?
yeah.
I feel like it's the secret because you get such
It
a good
is so
workout
the
and
secret.
your breathing is amazing. Like,
Oh.
you know? Yeah.
Do you
So
do you swim with the earphones in your
no,
ears?
mm-mm,
Okay, yeah, yeah. I
mm-mm,
do that
no.
with like Zen stuff, and not all the time. But and are you swimming now? No,
Mhm. Yeah.
you're able
Yeah.
to swim.
3 times a week. Yeah. Hit the pool.
Your pool's open. Yeah, our
Yeah.
pool.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, so weight, I mean, when I was in college, I used to know my weight to like a quarter
Sure.
of a pound. You know what I mean?
Did you see some guys struggling with? So this is not a news flash for anyone
Mhm.
that's in wrestling or in sports or on a professional or even Division One or whatever collegiate level. Men and women really do struggle as athletes. And here we hold them so high as our heroes. And there's a lot of Olympic athletes that struggle with making weight.
Mhm.
Um, did you go, you must have gone through being 5'11". My goodness, was that a very, very difficult journey for you?
Totally. I mean, I weighed 205 was my natural weight. 205. I would cut down to 174.
Mm,
That's insane. I have pictures of myself.
mm,
It looks so unhealthy. So I mean, when I was reading your bio and going into it, I was like, you what you're doing, the work that you're up to and doing,
mm.
it's women most. I mean, having daughters. I mean, the Moist, like we have grown her up in like a 13 and 10-year-old in this little life coaching bubble, and it's powerful. Like what, like her. Like, oh, I'm so proud of her. Like our daughters are just powerhouses, and you're
Great.
looking at them and you're realizing, yeah, like,
Exciting.
what they're up to is me, like what we're up to. But for my own journey, like it was a big deal to get over. Uh, like, I don't know how Moise put it. She said it was like I had this obsession with food,
Yeah.
and that kind of thing. And it's a very real problem. That ties into control and all of that. How do you? Because I feel like your work. I mean, you're talking about food, body. I mean, you're talking about the most sensitive stuff
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
How do you handle that, or how do you take like? How do you self-care and hold a container for all the other people
Mm.
who you're impacting in this way?
So I try to just be a little bit rebellious at any chance I get when there's a platform put in front of me to go, so how do you feel? And I try to base it with reason. I try to base it with research. And this one example, back in 1997, I was being interviewed by the New York Times, Alex Witchell. And it was a really revered interview where we were going out to lunch. And I just had to take a really deep breath. And I was like, I've got to be my most genuine self and throw all fear into the wind. And I talked, we were having a lovely meal, and I offered her cream at the end, and she was like, I can't believe you're offering me cream. I go, wait, we have dessert. And I said, I am not doing this on purpose, like, oh, the plus size model. And I said, you got to get rid of that. We're models. Obviously, I'm not size zero. I think the categorization is terrible. She's like, yeah. And I go, we're going to have homemade cookies because I know this restaurant. And I told them my favorite. And she goes, you actually did that? I said, girl, you're not living unless you have a cookie. And I love cookies. And once I allowed myself to have cookies, not every day and maybe not every week, but when I have a Jonesing for a cookie, oh, there's nothing better than having the cookie that you want. I go, a cookie is just a cookie. Get over it. And that ended up as the quote of the day in the New York Times. I got to tell you, that rocked. I was so I was like, yes. So, I honor the work of Evelyn Triboli. She's, the woman that had the therapist and multiple accolades and awards and distinction to Evelyn Triboli. Intuitive eating opened up the eyes to so many other people saying, I'm on this really horrible hamster wheel. and she goes, well, you, all foods are fine. You just have to learn if you have any food allergies, if you're eating way too much sugar, understand what that's doing to you. But if you're going to keep on telling yourself not to have a certain food, you're going to want it all the time. I mean, it's just real basic stuff. So when I geek out over, beet greens that are this big, can't even fit in this, I I get so crazy over them, especially if they're organic. But the farmer in my town is just like, will you please leave me alone? I mean, when he gives me eggs that are fed the food from the farm, and I mean, they're like blessed objects because they're going into your body and they're just going to be like, woohoo! I'm totally having fun in here. I mean, people might think that that's crazy, but when I had cancer back in 2007. Yesterday, I just talked to my oncologist and he said, you are no longer in remission. You are healed from this. And I said, yes, this is so great. Wow. So, you do certain things that when your body gets excited about the best dark chocolate you could find, not eating crap, Reese's Pieces, dear God in heaven, during Halloween, I will have them. But I try to go for the, it's just all these wonderful choices and not denying yourself and giving yourself the gift of, even if you're so busy during the day, to get up, even when it's raining. It sounds like it's horrible, but it's the best. Like I did this morning, it's raining on the East Coast. You get a lot of rain over in Portland, but it's raining here. And I've been training my girlfriends, we're going to get up and you're going to meet me at 6:30 and we're going to wear gear. If you need merino wool, whatever. I'm begging them to get snowshoes for when the snow comes. So having that joy that we're on this earth, it's so short. Like, you're going to hate a season? Please don't. Just figure it out. Do something. I mean, come on.
I'd love to take you on a mountain biking trail and get muddy.
I want to come. That was the other thing that I really wanted to. I love that you do that. I love doing mountain bike, the spring release with all the mud, and you wear your gear and stuff. I did that with 6 agents once, and I wanted to show them that I wasn't just a supermodel. I wanted them to understand me. At the end of the day, we're having beer and we're all dirty and everything. And they were just like, what is this? Who are you? What's going on? But I would love, please, John, keep that invite alive, because I would love to join you on one of your favorite things that I know that you enjoy a lot.
A buddy who's
that every day?
Like, no, I mean, that's a, we have a 4 and a 1 year-old. So 13, 10, 4, 1.
Are you getting sleep, by the way?
Yeah, right. So if I can ride twice a week with a 1-year-old, oh my goodness, it's going to be delicious. I mean, I catch air like multiple times a week. Well, I mean, we catch air like 20, 30 times, like, a session. I mean, so I have this theory of I feel like our modern society, people don't push themselves physically. Like there's not a, like on a daily basis, like there's like, you don't, unless you work out or exercise on a regular basis, you realize, okay, I push myself as physically, I reach a physical barrier of exercise, and that it creates grounding. I feel like it's the secret sauce.
It is.
How is the secret sauce in your life, or how do you use the secret sauce? As a tool, I guess is the question.
The tool, that's a great way of looking at it. It chills my butt out. It chills me out. I have a lot of ideas, and I sometimes get a little frustrated that I don't have multiple, yeah. When I work out,
I feel like a whole world just went by in that second. There it is.
When I work out, I actually can sit and focus and get a lot done. When I don't, and meditation also is like, you've got to hook me up to that thing in the morning, and where I can just receive. I do a lot of prayer, but I do need just to download and to get that separation. And I've learned, I mean, I think that my cancer was the teacher to shut up and meditate, sit your butt down and just get to the present moment. And I do have to say that I'm very, very grateful that I was able to not miss the present moment anymore. And it takes, it, and I feel that going into coaching and talking to senior level executives and professional athletes and all that, and CEOs of the household, anybody that is like, okay, I'm not enough, I'm not doing enough, I'm not getting enough. I'm like, let's all just take a deep breath. There's a lot going on that, it will make you feel so much better if you just take it a little slower and realize that you're doing incredible amounts and there's so much that you can do, but you don't want to all of it. I think that there's a saying that when people pass, right before they pass, they either say, man, I just wish I had slowed down. And for women, I wish that I had many of those desserts. I'm only joking, but um, it's not to waste our time. It doesn't mean that you have to shove so much into it. It's to cherish the time that we have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I imagine you go on stage with all of your accolades and having defeated, healed from cancer. Have you met Oprah, or are you just on her list of like people? What was it like meeting Oprah? I want to know. Yeah.
She's just a divine soul. She really, really has done such an incredible job motivating millions and millions of people just to read. And also to put out goals and to go for them. And I think I was on her show 6 times and been very, very blessed. Um, she's very, very special person. She is a gift to all of us. And I think that with her journey, she was letting us in. And we were very lucky, I think, to join that journey. And she
Amazing.
continues to rock. I mean, and the friendship between she and Gail, that's very precious and good. And I think it really spills over to how we can see ourselves as friends and with our friendships. And yeah.
Yeah, to me, she is the pinnacle, the oracle in some ways of, and now, I mean, it's just the way I feel like culture and society, I feel like we're taking some pretty huge steps forward, in like just in time too, especially when you look at these younger generations, like what my 13 and 10-year-olds, what they're talking about, and, all the things they're bringing to the table. Like, it's amazing to see like all of the hope and good that's coming along with a lot of the challenges that the social media and media in general is just putting in people's faces. I feel like the awareness of that is we're starting to catch up to, I think, the forces that we've unleashed, in terms of media.
I think so. We just didn't know. I think well, maybe a few that were the ones that had created a lot of the social media. Did you watch Social Dilemma yet?
We have.
Okay.
We have.
So have you
And
curtailed any of the viewing yourselves or with the kids? How's that going?
I never got into social media myself.
Okay.
I just, and Zuckerberg and I think we're like almost exactly the same age, in terms of, I was at Brown when he was at Harvard. I think I'm just like a couple years older, and, Facebook came when we were there.
Sure.
And I remember it being a thing. I think I was a sophomore when we got the invite, and then it was like, okay, like,
like this person. I remember when this person versus that person, and with all the body image, I go, they're doing that with women. I did not like that at all. I did not know that was that.
Oh, it's horrible. Yeah, no, it's
vile.
it's pure poison. Yeah, it's emotional, mental poison. And so, but I feel fortunate that I never got into it. I just didn't sit with me. And I mean, as a company, even Coach Training EDU, we've been trying to do social, trying to get there. I mean, we have a feed going right now, but part of it is wondering, as a company, is it responsible to have a social feed, or do we just say, you know what, we're just going to put all of this on the blog and not really necessarily even have a social?
Would you mind if I have an idea or a concept to share with you?
Please, this is lovely. This is lovely. I mean, this is what we're here for, right?
I
Oh,
think,
it's on mute. What happened? The sound went out.
ah,
Oh, there it goes. It's back.
here.
It's back.
Okay. So with your
They must be
permission,
listening. Someone's like, all right, nope, mute that.
with your permission, I would like to offer a comment.
Please, please.
Having a presence on social media, especially with your culture's tenets and with your mission and all that you're doing, it would be a disservice if you didn't have a presence on social media. So continue sharing the joy, the progress, the breakthroughs, the wonderful interviews that you're doing, because that's actually helping. And and you know, you don't have to do it yourself. You have other people doing it with you, and you're doing a lot of the content that you feel good about. As long as we all can keep doing good work and put it out into the internet, and then be able to be our own media watchdogs and disengage from the places that try to tear down and to try and pit one against the other, and to spread rumors or rumors, we'll just keep it that way.
Right.
And then all you have to do is just divert your attention. Don't give the attention where it doesn't build up, and you're all good. That's
Right.
that's
And
it.
it's interesting raising, girls in this society. I mean, in this society too, where they're getting into TikTok, or they're talking, it's
Be
part of the
careful,
thing that's
please.
happening, right? But when our girls are seeing Moise and I operate from an idea of how can we use social media as a tool.
Right.
And that's a very different kind of discussion from how do I use social media as entertainment and
Correct.
as distraction, or as like a digital pacifier, which I mean, and I work, most of my work is with teenagers, and I like a lot of the things you're saying, I mean, about body image, around self-esteem, around even how where they put their attention, things like this. These are the fundamental. I mean, I feel like this is the fundamental education that we're simply not giving young people, that I desperately want to give young people, because it matters. And the research is so plain, like when people get involved in these different practices, what happens to them, both positive and negative.
The main reason I wanted to join you at Coach Training EDU is I like your mission. Can you share that with everybody?
I mean, for me, it's to change education. It's to infuse education with life coaching concepts. And
So
I
where
would
are you
love.
at with that? What steps are you not only having this incredible platform, but are you talking to or have plans to talk to other people in the future?
Right, right. So the idea is to, I mean, we're looking at co-branding with a few universities, and to try to get life coach training, academic life coach training, to be one of the mandated courses that
Mhm.
teachers have to take in order to earn their teacher credential.
Oh, that's great.
It's so we're looking for a couple states to include this and say, look, you have to also be trained in this way. But it's happening naturally in a lot of ways, because it's very similar to the fundamentals are just correct.
Do you have the data? Do you have a group doing data intake on the effects of coach training on individuals and younger people and all that? Do they have, because that could be cool to align with a university that is seeped
Getting
in
there.
research.
We're getting there. I feel like, it's we're there. It's remarkable what we run into in this. It's remarkable to me is the resistance. The resistance comes a lot of times from teachers
Mm-hmm.
and from parents, and some from students, but there's a resistance to new, which I'm sure you've met resistance in your world,
Change. Don't you
right?
people jump up and down when change comes a knocking?
Right, right. So I go to a school. Let's say I go to school,
Yeah.
and I'm talking, giving a presentation to teachers. Say, hey, this training is available to all the teachers in the school. A third go, yay. A third are like, really? And then a third are actively, no, that's more work. I don't want to do it. Are you going to replace me? I'm a teacher. I'm not a coach.
Like fear. Yeah.
What? Mind blowing. And it's consistent.
Yeah,
It's
of course
really
it is.
consistent.
It's interesting. I think you're really onto something. I really, really going through the 1.0, going into 2.0 and the business, that all the different accoutrement classes. I just love the fact because knowing that all the systems that we have in our lifetime right now, even down to gender, all the systems have been opened up, cracked open, so a lot of light could be shown on them, and they're all being reviewed, whether it's the financial system, the educational system, the I mean, come on, we could name every single political system, everything. So why couldn't the educational system finally catch up to speed to, and I think that being in the pandemic and getting on Zoom and doing all this kind of learning, it has been really hard, right? You see this. It's been really hard on the teachers. Talk about quantum learning. They've learned a lot in the last 6 months, but okay, there's momentum. Who do we need to talk to in the Department of Education rolling forward?
Right. That's it. I mean, and what I think is going to happen is there's going to be a country that does it. Is it Canada? Is it India? Is it a country is going to say, we want to do this on a large scale. And then you're going to get really big numbers simply because it works. It's not a matter of if. I view it as a matter of when and how and what it's going to be. So we got to wrap this. We got to wrap this conversation up. So I have two more questions that I ask everybody. And one is your favorite life coaching tool and your advice to someone just starting out the life coaching training journey.
Okay, so my favorite tool, and I'm not good at it. I'm working on it. I'm really, really, really working on it, is holding the space without any words after you've asked the question.
I have a deep desire to do that right now. Let's just take a minute and do that right now. What are you noticing?
I'm noticing that there's a nice vibing going on, even with Zoom. It's really cool that Zoom it is a great tool in the coaching. And I took a page from your book where I'm going like this now. I don't look exactly at people. I just, yeah. Because you really do, when you do focus on somebody face to face, it's especially when they're digging and they're really revealing, becoming vulnerable. It's nice to give them a little bit of space where you're not looking directly at them. Okay, the other question that you asked me was, what advice would I give to someone younger? Right? Was it younger
or someone just starting, like someone who's just starting enrolled in a coach training program, whether they're 20 or 80?
Yeah. Oh, sure. I would definitely say that whether you're starting a coaching business or you're just curious about what a coach does, go through the whole course. Don't drop off. Stick with it. Read your information and participate in class, because it's going to help you personally. If that's the only thing you get out of this course, it'll help you personally. And as an interviewer, I know that it's going to help me when I start my Magnificent You podcast. I cannot wait to get an opportunity to talk to some really great folks, and hear their magnificence come out with the questions, and being quiet and allowing that effervescence, the crinkling, that energy to come through. So,
all right, then that leads to the last thing. What are you up to, and how can we support you? Like, what are the fun things you have going on, and how can we, like, we're gonna put this on the blog and have links and
so great.
trumpet this out.
Thank you, John. I just want to thank you. I want to thank you and Moise and all the teachers. You have some really, really great all of them that I've bumped into, even given me shocks of fear because they're so good and they love what they do. So I want to say thank you for that. from the tip of the nose to the toes of your organization, quick to jump in. So hats off to you for doing such a good job. What I'm working on is I'm looking to get into all different sorts of coaching. Front face any woman that has body image and self-esteem issues, or are in that's in the teaching field, on individuals, that's a real normal and natural. Now my athletic side, working with professional athletes from active to inactive duty, as well as people who are using their bodies as advocacy tools, to be able to help coach them through what might be going on in their world, that I'm very, very interested in, and have lots of experience, not being the professional athlete, but the celebrity and the mouthpiece for a movement very, very early on, and continue to be in that. I have a podcast called Magnificent You. We are just now getting that up and running, and Emme Wellness is where people can find me. And I'm very, very into clean products. So I have a little store, and I've tested everything, and some really good place that if you're looking for clean products that have no toxins in them. And that's basically what I'm up to.
I mean, I know this is going to be, I feel like this is just the start of many conversations we're going to have throughout.
I hope so, John. I really do.
The decades here. And I have this.
You might have me knocking on your door in my RV going, I did it! I did
yeah,
it!
What's up? Come on. We'll have an RV spot. You can come out, hang out in Hood River, Oregon. We'll hit the mountain bike trails, like show you my favorite spots. And
I'll bring my Gary Fisher with double suspension.
There you go. What's up?
Yep.
What's up? What do you ride? You ride a 29er? Do you have a? Probably.
No, it's a little old. I, in fact, have to replace the seat, but I love that bike so much. I love my bike.
It's sometimes I have this feeling when I'm on a trail. I was riding once, and I just fell in love with the trail. And it's hard to describe it. It feels like you can't tell where you start, the bike starts, and the dirt starts, and you just feel like you're all just
in it.
The trail wants you to ride it, like the feeling, and I get that feeling when you're talking about like life, like you're talking about life, like there's a natural, generous appetite you have in grabbing all that life offers and just loving it, that I feel like gives permission for people to do the same. That comes through in what you're talking about. I mean, that's a gift.
Thank you, John.
That is a gift. And I just feel it. It's like, feels electric. And I mean, part of it is just, this is why I love coaching, because when you're listening to someone, it's like the empathetic muscle just naturally goes over there, and you feel the other person's energy. And how can you not, how can you not like be in this way of being that just feels generous? It's just a generous, energetic thing to be. So thank you for that. Really appreciate.
My pleasure. Really, my pleasure.
I do have two. Last thing. I want to do a sketch. I want to do a comedy sketch with you where we talk about life coach fashion. So when we get there, when we get to life coach fashion, and what, Zoom fashion, all of it.
Yeah.
Send you a note.
You want to do life coaching fashion?
Oh yeah. I want to do a sketch with you.
I actually, okay. Yeah. You know what? Yeah. I've been thinking about that actually.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I know a couple. No, really, it's okay. Let's talk.
We got it. I mean, it's a pleasure. We're going to throw stuff on the blog. For those of you listening, I haven't even looked at the thank you. But wait, this has been a Coaching to Flourish podcast. I forgot to do the thing. Coaching to Flourish podcast. Woohoo! And here we are doing our thing.
Okay, people can find me on Instagram. Emme.wellness, and then Wellness Emme on Facebook. And if you want to check out the supermodel thing, supermodel EMME on Instagram.
This has been a Coach to Flourish podcast. Thanks, Emme, for the professional tale. We'll see you next week, everyone. Thanks for watching.